I'm Scott Schutte.
And I'm Dr. Janine Stichter.
Welcome to Becoming the Ultimate Coach with the Jock
and the Doc.
We are here to disrupt some of the current thinking around how the fitness industry approaches clients. Our goal is to educate and inspire fitness professionals to get the results, income, hours, and career that they want and deserve.
Our combined experience in education in psychology and fitness create a new insight on ways to become the ultimate coach.
Welcome to Becoming the Ultimate Coach. I am the Jock, this is the Doc, and today we're going to be talking about what gets measured gets the focus. And we're so used to hearing what gets measured gets managed, but today we're going to go into the focus of just what we measure. And so as a young coach, I had so many people coming to me and either weight loss was the goal or body fat was the goal, and that got all the focus, that got all the attention. And so today we're going to have the Doc break down what's the issues with that, or what do we need to think about if that is the only thing that we're measuring. So Doc, what do you got for that?
Well, I think a couple of things right off the bat is when we are focused on, let's say, weight loss and it's scale or it's body comp, it starts to think logically of why we see people, and ourselves sometimes probably included, just do weird things to get an outcome. So the cabbage diet, or people might misuse over-the-counter or prescription medicines to just in this, I'm going to get this weight loss. Because if that's the only thing that I think this whole fitness journey is about, is just that one outcome, I'm going to look at anything, and especially the easiest thing or the quickest thing to get there. But the problem is we know a couple of things about that. One of them is that it's analogous of going to your doctor and talking about chronic fatigue, and they're like, okay, well, have you done this? Have you done this? But let's also look at your blood work. Are there any other markers? Are there any other things that are contributing to this? And so from us as working with clients in that coaching personal trainer facet, we can think about things like stress management, sleep, relationships, stamina, strength, all of these things, overall health, happiness, and looking at this plethora of different ways to think about what contributes to healthy weight management, successful eating habits, and those types of things. And so by looking at those different measures, we also do a couple of other things, is we give a person numerous ways to look at progress. We all know that regardless of how compliant or successful we are in a weight loss management strategy, let's say nutrition or whatever, at some point people will plateau or the change doesn't go as fast as it did before. And if you're just constantly sitting on the scale going, it's not moving, it's really hard for somebody to see progress. But if we're also measuring sleep and we're seeing a correlation with better sleep hygiene, and some of that weight loss, or if we're working on developing our relationships in a tribe of people that are encouraged some of the behaviors that we want towards that lifestyle, that fitness level, then we can kind of start seeing that progress as well. Which is one of the reasons that we developed the Healthy Behavior Assessment that just looks at 10 different facets of someone's lifestyle and where they think they're at with it, where they want to go, so that we can measure that repeatedly to help them see different ways, A, to measure that progress, and to B, to understand that even if you lost the weight, if you let your sleep and your stress and your mindset and your relationships fall to the wayside, don't give them focus, the likelihood that some of that weight's going to come back on is pretty strong.
Yeah, and so what I see with clients, and this is what makes it very deceiving as a trainer, especially as when I was a young trainer, is so many people are coming to me and they're like, well, I want to lose weight. So I'm like, okay, well, that's my number one goal, or I want to lose body fat. So as a trainer, it's like, well, that's what they're asking for. That's what I'm going to give them. But what you see over time is there's a lot more layers to this. So there's two parts of this. There's one where, I've seen people lose the weight, but they're still really unhappy. And then it's kind of like this we talked about earlier, where we're on this journey of like, all right, I got this job I wanted, but I hate the job, kind of like the same thing. Or the other side is like, there's all these underlying factors that are contributing to the weight loss. It's not just the exercise or not just the nutrition, it's all these underlying factors, which you talked about with the Healthy Behavior Assessment. So then my question would be, and I'm sure this is out there, is like, is tracking weight bad then?
Not at all, as long as you're clear on why you're doing it, what information it's giving you. So one of the things about measurement, just across the board, and I talk to people about this all the time, is what is it you want from that piece of measurement, and what is it you want to understand, and are you wanting to measure progress in what regards? Because the scale's not going to tell me necessarily if I'm eating healthier.
Yep.
It may tell me that I've sufficiently had a calorie deficit enough to lose some of the weight, or it might just tell me that I'm not retaining water today and I was yesterday. So what is it that I want the scale to tell me? And if I'm using that and understanding that, but what else do I want? If a client tells me I want to lose weight and I say why? I want to look better in my jeans. I want to feel better in clothes. I'm tired of wearing stretchy pants. Great. We can use the scale as one piece of monitoring progress, but the bottom line is are you putting those jeans on regularly? Are they fitting better? Are you able to wear clothes? Are you wearing less stretchy pants? And so again, in moderation, of course, some people have some scale kind of weight issues anyway, and you have to be careful with that. And most trainers know, like, okay, we'll need to find something different. But again, if I'm clear that it's one piece of measurement towards the whole puzzle, and then also understanding that the scale is not your ultimate tool for maintaining weight loss. Scale will kind of give you those benchmarks, but if what helps me maintain that is more activity, better sleep, and stronger relationships, those are the things I need to keep measuring, because that's going to maintain that foundation.
Yeah, and that's such a big thing, because we can only have weight loss for so long if people do need to lose weight. So it's really an education part on the trainer to let the client know of, like, yes, you do want to lose weight. Yes, we can lose weight, and it's something we can track for a while, but it can't be our overall long-term goal. And then some of the things she talked about earlier, so many of these other facets of our lives will dictate the nutrition we do, that we eat, and the nutrition that we eat will dictate whether we're losing the weight a lot or not. A good example is one of my clients that I recently worked with. She had an injury, and so she wasn't able to do the exercises she wanted to, and she's just kind of down because, you know, she's in a boot, she's on a scooter. And so one of the things that popped up in her assessment was more of mindset. And so she's feeling pretty down, which most of us do when we get injured. And so what we worked on is, it's called a 5-minute journal. So it's 2.5 minutes in the morning, it's 2.5 minutes in the evening. It's like, in the morning you're like, okay, what am I grateful for today? What am I grateful for? Or what are 3 things that are gonna make today great? And then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what are 3 great things that happened today? And then what are a couple things that I could have done differently to make it better? So it's giving this focus more to the positive instead of focusing on the things that she can't do. And so that just and gives her a little bit more positive mindset, so then she doesn't feel down. And a lot of people, when they feel down, they start to go for the food. And when they start going for the food, it's not like, I want more chicken and broccoli. It's more of like, I want chips, or I want something salty, or I want something sweet to make myself feel a little bit better. Then overall impacts the weight loss. So there's all these different layers that we have to work into. And so if we just focus on, you know, the weight loss and the exercise, then we're going to do tons of exercise, but they might not change the food, so they might not get the weight loss. If we just focus on the exercise and the nutrition, and I have some people to track on like MyFitnessPal, but it has its own issues too, because if you give that all the attention, some people can become obsessed with just that tracking. So in regards to like the MyFitnessPal and the tracking the food and stuff like that, what are some cautions that you have for people with using that platform?
So, I mean, again, I think what's important for coaches or trainers or any of us when working with a client and we're doing that kind of is really, and you said this nicely about this education for clients. Why are we doing this? If initially it's just about you having this client having a better understanding in general about how many calories they're consuming and then what their macros are, right? Protein to carb to fat ratio. And maybe they don't have any sense of that and you just want them to awareness. But then make sure that once they're tracking, you go to that phase 2 of understanding what's the goal here. We need more protein, for example, or healthier fats or those types of things. Because otherwise what's going to happen is the same as the scale. I just want the number to hit. Yeah. I need, 1,800 calories. So as long as I hit that, I might, eat half my weight in jelly beans that day. But as long as I hit 1,800 calories, it doesn't matter. So they need to understand that. And then knowing that the reason that they're tracking and paying attention to it, that third phase, is so that they start pairing their choices with healthy, like that those fit into their macros or their calories. And then over time, they shouldn't have to track much, because they already kind of have that rhythm of this is a better choice than that. And so really having that conversation about why we're doing it, and then think about different levels of education and let them know that there's a progression here, and it's not just track for the rest of your life or just hit this number and you're golden.
Yeah, And so really to recap today, when we talk about this, what gets measured, gets the focus, be careful of the things that you give the emphasis to. Because if you're just doing weight, or you're just doing body fat, or you're just having them track food, like that might make them think that's the only thing that's important. So it's good to have this kind of diverse thing. Like, it's amazing how many clients I see light up when a trainer's like, well, look, you got a PR on this lift today. So that's a good thing. But again, that doesn't want to be the only focus. Like if they're looking to be healthier and to lose weight and stuff like that, we might still track weight. We do want to focus on this. But this other assessment, when we're talking about mindset and stress management, because ultimately the client, we want them to help them lose the weight if that's the goal is. We want to help them be healthier. We want them to ultimately be happier. And if they have to, lose some of these things like sacrifice on the relationships, or they're more stressed, or all these other issues get worse and they lose the weight, they're ultimately not going to be happy. And what we're looking for is this very holistic approach with working with our clients and ultimately helping them get the goal that they want and making the job easier for us. So we'll see you next time.